What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we're going to be looking at all the red Digimon coming in Booster 1.0. Now, we did have a look at this yesterday for the blue cards. We're going to be looking at it for red cards today. I'd like to make this into a series, looking at a different color every day. It's going to be largely up to you guys, honestly. The one yesterday has proven maybe not the most popular video we've done lately, but I have had an awful lot of requests from people basically saying, can you just do a video showing us what each of the colours is about? And I think this is the best way to do it. So we're going to run through all the red cards here, which are coming out in Booster 1.0. Now, and we'll have a quick chat about the starter deck as well, but that's not really the point of the video. So starting off, we've got a couple of Digitarma. We've got Yokomon. When you're attacking an opponent's Digimon, you get an extra 1,000 power. Does not work when you're attacking security cards, so it really depends on how your deck works and whether you want to attack security or whether you're going to be taking out a lot of Digimon. Babydemon, on your turn, if this Digimon has piercing, you get an extra 2,000 power. Now we're going to see there are some options to give yourself piercing, so the message here is simple. In a piercing deck, play this Digimon. In a non-piercing deck, don't play this Digimon. We have one more option, and it is Coromon. Coromon gives you an extra 1,000 power if you've got 4 or more Digivolution cards. I should mention that the starter decks, we've not got the full list yet, but over on the translated international site, we can have a look at them all. The translations might not be perfect, the names might not be perfect, and we've not actually had confirmation that the set list is identical, but we as good as have. I would be absolutely stunned if there were any differences in cards between the Japanese starter decks and the English release. Although do remember, we are getting a booster pack in them, so yay! Honestly, there's no perfect Digitarma for red decks here like there was for blue. If you're playing piercing, you're going Babydemon. If you are evolving a lot, Coromon gives you an extra 1,000 power if you've got at least 4 Digivolution sources. If neither of them is true, I suppose you're going Yokomon, but it's not great if you're against security cards. This is probably still the best option for most decks, though. So moving on, we've got ourselves Monodramon. What's good about this? 2 cost to play normally. Vanilla Digimon, it's not got any skills, it's not particularly powerful, but it's only a 2 cost to play normally. That's why you play it. Agumon, I like a lot. It's not expensive, 3 cost to play normally, 0 cost to evolve, but when you play it, that is play, not evolve, remember they are different, you reveal 5 cards on the top of your deck and pop a Tamer into your hand. If you're using Tamer cards, this is a great way to search them out. And there is an alternate art version of that which you can get in your dash packs, which is cool. Agumon Expert. I'll be honest with you, Professor Agumon is a Japanese name and that's way better. It's very weak, but it's not expensive. And when you play it, you return a Digimon card with Agumon in its name from your recycle bin to your hand. Yeah, apparently we call the trash the recycle bin. Whatever works. This can get back an Agumon or an Agumon Expert. And again, if you're playing an Agumon deck, this will work. I've seen it see play in Japan. Biyomon is a standard level 3, but if you're blocked, you get an extra 2,000 power. This, it's very much a metagame call, right? If you are expecting to be blocked, this is a great card. If you're not, it's not. This will settle the tie. A lot of level 6s have 11,000 power. This will let a 10,000 power level 6 take out an 11,000 power without going down. Or it'll let an 11,000 power take out a 12,000 power without going down. It will break the tie in a lot of these, and for that reason it's a good inheritable skill. Remember, Biyomon does not have this skill. The Digimon that evolves from it does. Muchomon is actually quite a nice card. Now, you do have to pay to evolve it. And remember, turn 1, if you go first, you start with 0 memory. So if you play this, your turn ends, which is rubbish. Don't do it. Play a different level 3, but 5,000 power on a regular cost level 3 is pretty gosh darn good. Kokatoriamon, I'm not great at pronouncing some of these, I'm sorry. I'm learning though. It's a level 4, and it's not great. The one thing I will say, free cost to play normally, we can compare to the other level 4s here. It is the cheapest to play normally, but it's not powerful and it's not cheap to evolve. But a free cost, which is what you would pay for a level 3, to get a level 4 on the board, to then evolve up into your other levels, that is kind of cool. Graolemon's got an inheritable skill that just gives you an extra 2,000 power, and you can combine that with something like Yokomon to give you an extra 3,000 power, or with Koromon here. I mean, you can build up. One of the things red decks do really well is build up power and get really beefy. If that's the kind of deck you're playing, this is going to be your friend. Tyrannomon has got jamming, and it's not a particularly good card, it's not a particularly cheap card, but it's got jamming. Jamming says you will not be destroyed by security Digimon. If a security Digimon comes out and it's got more power than you, who cares? You're still not destroyed. That is a great reason to play Tyrannomon. Because you can have a 4,000 power Digimon attacking a security knowing you're not being destroyed. That is beautiful. Birdramon, when you play it, and it's got to be a play, not an evolve, but it's only a 4 cost. One of your Digimon gets security attack +1. You attack an extra security card, assuming you survive the first attack. But remember, Digimon like Tyrannomon will, because they've got jamming. Love it. Really big advantage you can get from this. Flarizamon? Let's go for that. It's got a skill. On your turn, if you've got 3 or more memory, you gain security attack +1. So this would want to be in a very aggro deck. When you get into the late game, this ain't doing you any favours. But in the early game, when you're going a bit aggro, this has absolutely got your back. And for that reason, we kind of love it. Dark Tyrannomon, there is really one reason to play Dark Tyrannomon. It is the evolution cost of 1. It really is as simple as that. Every other level 4 we see here evolves for 2, this evolves for 1. And there are going to be some decks, some games where all you really want to do is get up to your level 6 or level 7 Digimon. That is all you're looking to do, that is your one goal, so to speak. So play this as a level 4 to get there quicker. Graolemon is, well, it's your cheap level 5. If we look at the other level 5s, free cost to evolve, free cost to evolve, free cost to evolve, free cost to evolve. 6 to play normally, 7, 7, 7 to play normally. Graolemon is not a powerful Digimon. It is actually the weakest Digimon in terms of level 5s that we've got. But nobody cares because it's the cheapest to play normally and the cheapest to evolve. Like Dark Tyrannomon we just looked at, this is a Digimon you are playing purely on the basis of getting rolling. Why not? Works. Metal Greymon, when you attack, you gain free memory. At the end of the turn, you lose free memory. We've talked about these a bunch. These are memory borrowers. You're not gaining any memory in the long run because you're giving it back, but one big final turn, one big turn that allows you to, delete your opponent's Digimon that they're relying on. You need to time this skill properly, but if you do, it can be devastating. Garudamon has got piercing, so if you're playing a Garudamon deck, blatantly that would be one where Babydamon comes out quite nicely. But as well as piercing I should say, when you take out a resting Digimon, you then perform a security check. So whereas normally you would either take out a resting Digimon, or you would go after your opponent's security stack, here you can basically do both. But on your turn, when you're blocked, you draw one. Now that's an inheritable skill again, so it's when you evolve from it. But one of the things that red Digimon do is they give themselves an advantage when you get blocked. We've already seen that you can give yourself an extra 2,000 power when you're blocked with Biyomon. Here, if you're blocked, you get to draw a card. A lot of the time, your opponent might not let you do this, but in reality, what it basically ends up doing is making sure you're not getting blocked, which may well be exactly what you're looking to do anyway. So that seems fine by me. Skull Greymon, I love this. Now, it's not the cheapest card, but when you play it normally, paying 7, you delete a blocker. You just flat out delete one of your opponent's Digimon with blocker. I love this. Firstly, instant deletion of a Digimon, yes. Secondly, take out a blocker so they can't hurt you in the future. Ha! Love Skull Greymon, absolutely love it. Metal Tyrannomon is just powerful. It's not particularly cheap to either play or to evolve, but it is powerful. 10,000 power on a level 5 is great. We see a bunch of level 6s that have 10,000 power. Having it on a level 5, and bearing in mind, right, you start off with your Digitama, and you evolve into a level 3 for 0 cost. Then Dark Tyrannomon is a level 4, you're only paying 1 memory. So, by the time you evolve up into Metal Tyrannomon, you've paid 4 memory. 0 to evolve into level 3, 1 to evolve into level 4, 3 to evolve into a level 5. You can get Metal Tyrannomon rolling for 4 memory as a 10,000 power Digimon. That is going to be hard to go after. Now, there are a couple of level 6s we've got here. We got War Greymon. Now, War Greymon it's a big one, right? It is the headline Digimon. When you Digivolve, you get security attack +1 till the end of the turn. And if you hit an option card, when you perform a security check, it doesn't do anything. Now, Tamers still do, but this doesn't. It's brilliant. Bearing in mind, you got 11,000 power, but we got plenty of ways to beef that up. So you're probably not being taken down by security Digimon, and security option cards aren't doing anything, and you're revealing more security cards anyway. Most of the time, if your opponent's going after your security, you at least get to gain some extra skills from them. But no! Nothing here. You're not being deleted, you're not activating skills, it's brilliant. There is a beautiful alternate art in the set as well. The other option here, and there are a couple others we'll get there in a minute, is Breakdramon. Breakdramon has got piercing, which we've talked about, and it's got 11,000 power. Simple as that. Now, the awkward thing, right, about this set is because they're combining Japanese sets 1, 2, and 3 into our sets 1 and 1.5, these are basically the set 1 red Digimon. So the set list is all out of whack. But the good news is that we can figure out, shall we say. We can flick through and make it work. Now, I've got to kind of go a little bit non-red for a minute here, because we've got Omnimon. And I know that Omnimon isn't a red Digimon, but it is, because it can evolve from red or blue. And Omnimon is likely to be the meta. When Booster 1.0 comes out, Omnimon is going to be the meta. Omnimon is a card you want. When you're opening booster packs, this is what you're hoping to open. When you Digivolve into it, you delete all of your opponent's Digimon with one particular name. So if they've got 2 War Greymon out, boom, both of them go down. And when you attack, you may make it active again, unsuspend it, by putting a level 6 evolution source into your hand. So essentially the first, because you're only going to have 1 level 6 evolution source, the first time you attack with it, you get to make it active. It is an over-the-top, phenomenal card. Now, we've also got Metal Greymon here. Now, this is a secret rare. It's going to be hard to pull. But you get security attack +2, which is nuts. And when you attack, you lose 5 memory. No, we don't want to lose 5 memory. But you get to attack 3 security cards in one go. One normally +2. That is going to be worth giving up the memory a lot of the time. I mean, if your opponent's got 3 security cards left, and this will not pass a turn to your opponent, you take out 3 security cards, pass to yourself, because you've not quite given up yet, and then you attack and win the game. It's worth giving up 5 memory. Or it's got an inheritable skill that gives you an extra 3,000 power. So even if you just use this as a Digimon through which to evolve, it's still pretty awesome. And there is an alternate art here as well. Yes, it's an alternate art secret rare. No, it's not going to be cheap. Now, there are a few others we can look at. We've got Graolemon here. It is a level 3, and if there are 5 or more cards in your opponent's trash, apparently not recycle bin, this Digimon gains 1,000 power. So again, it's another way to add power. We've got Graolemon, which when you attack, you delete a Digimon with 2,000 DP or less. And that's not going to be many of them, but there's going to be some, and that's amazing. When it works, it's going to be awesome. War Graolemon, when you Digivolve, if you've got a red Tamer in play, you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3,000 DP or less, which is kind of awesome. because that's just more Digimon. That's not all, but most level 3s. And then it's got an inheritable skill whereby if there are 5 or more cards in your opponent's trash, you get 1,000 power, which is kind of awesome. And then we've got a couple other level 6s to look at. Volcanic Dramon. It's only got 10,000 power, which is super low, but it's got security attack +1, and when you play it, you delete all of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 power or less. Yeah, you can play this evolution line and delete a lot of Digimon. Of course, one of the in vogue decks at the moment is what we call Rookie Rush, where you play lots of small, weak Digimon, knowing they're just going to get deleted quickly, but knowing that you're going to be able to get off a bunch of attacks and take out a bunch of security before that happens. Volcanic Dramon is a ridiculous counter to just all of them. And it is a play skill, not an evolution skill. But if your opponent gets like 6 level 3s and 4s out with 4,000 power or less, you can play this for 11 memory and just get rid of all of them, which is funny. Yeah, we like this quite a bit. And then there's Graolemon here, whereby when you Digivolve, if you got a red Tamer in play, you delete a Digimon with 6,000 power or less. And when you attack, you trash one of your opponent's security cards for every 10 cards in their trash. But this is trashing a security card. It is not performing a security check. What that means is, no, option cards and Tamers will not activate. No, security Digimon will not be able to destroy you. You're just trashing them. This has the potential to be great. Like, genuinely great. And then we can finish off having a look at some Tamers and option cards. So in terms of Tamers, we do have a couple of options. We've got Taikamiya. If you've got 2 memory or less at the start of your turn, you put it to 3. And all of your red Digimon with 4 or more Digivolution sources gain security attack +1. Which, that can be pretty powerful. Gaining memory and extra security attack, that sounds pretty good to me. The other option we've got in terms of red Tamers, and you can see it's kind of awkward with the set list being all messed around, but we've got Sora here. It's a free cost, and on your turn, when one of your red Digimon attacks a player, i.e. security or you, not Digimon, you may suspend this Tamer to give that Digimon plus 2,000 power. So if you're going after security or player getting an extra 2,000 power, yes, sounds good to me. Now, they're your Tamer options. There is actually one more option for a Tamer in the starter deck, and that is Taichi. It is a 2 cost that just gives all your Digimon an extra 1,000 power on your turn. Again, it's red. We're boosting power. It's kind of what we do, to be honest with you. Now, in terms of option cards here, we've got a bunch we can look at. Gravity Crush is a 0 cost option card that borrows 2 memory. Gain 2 now, give it back at the end of the turn. Really good either for a turn where you win the game or just an explosive turn. Nuclear Laser is a 2 cost that draws you 2 cards and then gives one of your Digimon an extra 2,000 power. 2 good things in 1 card. Great Tornado is a 3 cost card that gives one of your Digimon an extra 2,000 power and security attack +1. And you can see how this builds up with these red decks. More power, more security attacks, hyper aggro. Although, as a security card, it just gets added to your hand, which is still better than the other 2 we've looked at that don't have security skills. Oblivion Bird is a 5 cost card that deletes one of your opponent's Digimon with blocker and does the same thing as a security. And I love this because it's got Skull Greymon on the art, and this is what Skull Greymon does. Deletes a blocker. So that makes me pretty gosh darn happy. We've also got a couple of others we can quickly look at. We've got Radiation Blade. It's a 3 cost card, and up to 2 of your Digimon gain security attack +1. I know, it keeps happening. Seriously, there are ways to build up to get security attack +4 and just take out all your opponent's security cards in one go, which is nuts. And I assume some decks will be made to do exactly that. Shield of the Just is a 6 cost option card that deletes one of your opponent's Digimon with 5,000 DP or less. And if you've got a red Tamer in play, you delete one with 8,000 power or less instead. So this automatic deletion is another thing that we actually do see that red cards do quite a bit. And that's a good thing. Now, the starter deck, I've done videos about the starter deck where I do look in a lot more detail, but we're going to have a very quick run through the starter deck here, although I've done an opening and I've done an analysis, so do go check those videos out. So in terms of option cards here, we've got Shadow Wing, a 1-cost option that gives a Digimon an extra 3,000 power. As a security check, it gives all of your Digimon security attack +1 next turn, which is kind of nuts good. Starlight Explosion for 2 cost gives all of your security Digimon an extra 7,000 power until the end of your next turn, or as a security card until the end of this turn, because your opponent is currently attacking the security. Basically, that means that security Digimon are far less likely to go down. Giga Destroyer is a 6-cost card that deletes up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon with 4,000 power or less. So again, we've got that automatic deletion going on. And Gaia Force is an 8-cost card that just deletes one of your opponent's Digimon, and yes, does the same thing as a security card. This has proven to be the best red option card so far. It gets into a whole bunch of red cards. Should have mentioned Giga Destroyer does the same thing as a security check. But seriously, Gaia Force is great. In terms of Digimon, Beamon is a vanilla, but it's a 2-cost to play normally, so it's cheap. And remember, right, every turn you either hatch an egg or move a Digimon out of your breeding area if you've evolved it. So you're only really evolving a level 2 every other turn. Most of your level 3s are going to be played normally. 2 cost is good. Aggamon just gives you an extra 1,000 power as an inheritable skill. Fits with red decks nicely. Dracomon is a vanilla, but it's got a bit of extra power. Not loving that card, to be honest. Birdramon is a vanilla, but it's a little bit cheaper to play as a level 4. It's only a 4 cost to play normally. Not loving that card. Cordramon is your token, your average blocker that all the colours are getting. It's a blocker. You can redirect an attack towards it to save your security stack or another Digimon, but you've got to pay 2 memory to attack, so use it as a blocker, don't attack with it. Graolemon has got an inheritable skill that gives security attack +1. Seriously, red cards, extra power, extra security attack, pure aggro. Garudamon, sorry. When you evolve, you give 3,000 power to one of your Digimon. Yeah, it's still happening. And Metal Greymon, if it's blocked, you gain 3 memory. So that's really nice to discourage your opponent from blocking, or at least give you a good advantage if they do. Phoenixmon is your everyday run-of-the-mill vanilla level 6. 10 cost to play normally is cheap, 2 cost to evolve is cheap, 12,000 power is high. You're not getting any skills, but all of the colours have this, and they are basically just cheap, powerful level 6s. And finally, War Greymon. For every 2 Digivolution sources, you gain security attack +1. So if you've gone from a Digitarmor all the way up to this level 6, there will be 4 evolution sources. You'll get security attack +2, plus whatever other security attack you've gotten, which will probably be numerous. And there we go. Lots of red cards, because it's been around since the first set in Japan and it's had a starter deck. That does give us more options. In terms of red decks, honestly, they're going to revolve around Omnimon. They're probably going to build power, they're probably going to build security attacks, there are other things that you can do, but Omnimon is very much where the red decks are going to go, because why would they not? We've actually got a few really nice level 6s to use here, but whatever level 6s you use, you're probably going to evolve into Omnimon. This is not going to be a cheap card, pick up singles while you can. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, there's all the red cards, and now hopefully you've got a nice look at what red cards do, and it can get you thinking about which cards you're going to be building when Booster 1.0 comes out. For now, I just want to know what you think about all of these, so go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk Digimon and a bunch of other card games. And do please consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, Look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays. Bye.